G'day folks, what is going on? Hope you are having a fantastic day. Coming at you on a Sunday afternoon. Just wrapped up a lunch with the family and was getting a little bit of work done heading into the new week, and wanted to film a video, bring you guys some content today. I had an idea for this one after having a conversation with a dude who's in one of my programs, and hopefully will shortly be entering the inner circle as well. There's a link in the description to the waitlist for that if you want to get the information about it. And we're talking about structuring up a program that he's kind of rolled out, but is also wanting to more formalize and then obviously sell a hell of a lot more of. And I was giving him some advice around structure, around both the structure of the program and structuring up his business in terms of the different pieces within his ecosystem. And then we got onto the topic of content, and he said that he's always sold a lot really just through Messenger, right? So basically pretty heavily leaning on the sales process in his business. And I kind of shared my views with him around content and how we use it to supplement the sales process. Okay, so I wanted to film a video and kind of talk you through the advice that I gave him, because I think it'll be beneficial to some of the people that watch this channel and some of the folks that might join in the future. All right, before we jump into this one, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, give the video a like, all that kind of good stuff. If you want to join our private community, that's going to be the first link in the description. There's a couple of questions for you to answer, and then my PA will get you approved into there pretty quickly, right? Might take a couple of days, just depends on when we let the last tranche of people in. And that's basically it. Leave any questions or comments that you've got below. Let me know what you do when it comes to content. I'd be interested. Let me know what you think about content. Let me know in the comments. Do you find it easy? Do you find it hard? Do you find it tough to come up with ideas? I'm interested. Content's it's a thing in this social media game where we need to be, fueling the beast, so to speak. And I know some people find it pretty easy. I know some people struggle with it. So I'm interested in your thoughts. Let me know in the comments. But let's jump into this one, because I want to get to the advice that I gave him, because I know it's going to help a lot of people as well. All right. So before I kind of get into that specifically, let me just explain how I think about really the business of selling courses and coaching and consulting and events and stuff using a personal brand in particular. I mean, you could extrapolate this out to, if you had a business brand, so to speak. But really this mostly applies to personal brands, because that's where most of my experience is, and that's what we've done very, very well and won a bunch of awards with, like the stuff you can kind of see here. That's selling, software and digital products, selling courses, coaching, all that kind of stuff. That's really where the expertise is. So I always talk to my students and clients and stuff about the business really in four components. There's more, but they're the main ones to really think about. First one's how you think and your mindset. That kind of sits above everything. And then when you get more strategic and tactical, there's three main things, right? There's what you're selling, your offer. There's how you're selling it, your sales process. And there's who you're selling it to. Okay, now that captures a few things. That captures your target audience, the platform that you're on, and the message that you're giving them, aka your content. All right, now if you imagine, your business is kind of holding up a roof, right? Like you've got a big roof on a house that you're trying to hold up, and they're your three pillars that are holding up that roof, right? You can choose how much weight you put onto each of those pillars. So what I mean by that is, if you create a really, really, really dialed in and strong offer, right? Like an offer that people read and they're like, holy shit, I have to have that. That speaks to me exactly. It's a no-brainer. There's no risk, or that kind of stuff. You could put like 90% of the weight of your business on the offer, and it makes the sales process really easy, and it makes the content game really easy. Okay, you need the lead flow obviously, but you can take the weight off those components, right? If you, for example, maybe your offer's not quite as dialed in, right? Or you don't want to offer some obscene guarantees because it doesn't fit for your market or your style, or you don't believe in it or whatever. So you might put a little bit more weight back on those other two pillars, your sales and your marketing, right? And then that takes a bit of the weight off the offer, because it's not quite as strong, right? And then you need to put more time and effort into your sales process, be that phone, a funnel, messenger, and you put more weight into your content. All right. So in talking to this guy, he was in a world where he put a ton of weight onto the middle pillar, aka his sales process. And I've done that at times, but where we've made the bulk of our money is we put weight on the sales process, but the majority of it is split across the offer and the content. Okay, and the reason that we choose to do that is because those 2 points have a lot of leverage, right? When you're selling higher ticket stuff and you're needing to be having a conversation with people, be that in Messenger or be that on the phone, that doesn't have leverage, right? You can build leverage into your business by building out a team, but you've still got to manage people. Whereas an offer, you can create once and then keep improving it and stuff. But that thing has a ton of leverage because you literally put the time in once and it can sell over and over and over again. Same with the content, it has a lot of leverage. Like this video will go out and be seen by hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, right? Both people that are currently in my audience and new people that come into my audience. So that has a lot of leverage. All right. And then when you've got a really strong offer and really strong content that people spend a lot of time getting to know you via watching and reading, right? Like you might watch some videos, then you might join the community, you might read some of my emails, some of my posts in the Facebook group, all that kind of stuff. The more time that your prospects invest with you before they purchase, the easier that sales process becomes. Okay, so that's how we've done a lot in the course and coaching spaces, by putting a lot of weight on the content side of things and on the offer side of things, which takes a bit of pressure off that middle component, right? And that's how we're able to close like $10, $15, $20,000 deals in the DMs with like 4, 5, 6 messages, like really, really cool stuff. So I just wanted to give you that context in terms of like how we think about the buckets of the business. And so we were talking about his business and how he's had a big focus on that middle pillar. And I was saying, look, I'd supplement it, man, with some content, because it's going to take the weight off that part of the business. You're not going to have to sell as hard. And when you start hiring people, they're not going to have to sell as hard. It just makes it easier. And then we got into talking about content, and I said, there's a lot of different types of posts that you can make, and there's a lot of strategies and tactics and stuff, but the biggest tip I can give you when it comes to content is let your business fuel it. Okay, and what I mean by that is people really struggle with consistently creating content, right? And he's like, I was reading your posts and a couple of others, and there's a lot of conviction, there's a lot of confidence, right? This kind of charisma. And it makes people want to move forward and buy stuff. And I said, look, dude, that's me having created content nearly daily for the last kind of 4 years. It's something that you practice and you get better and better and better and better at it. And then I told him that piece of advice. I said, dude, let your business fuel the content, right? So what that means is, as you go about your day, pay attention to the things that are happening and let those be the triggers for your content, okay? So emails you receive, messages you receive, conversations that you have with people on your team, prospects, clients, right? Stuff that you see on social media, stuff that you read, stuff that you watch, all right? All of the things that happen day in and day out, just going about your business, running your business, growing your business, all those kind of things, learning in order to grow your business, let them become the catalyst for your content. Because what's going to happen is, one, you're never going to run out of stuff to talk about, because if you're constantly doing things and you're constantly trying to improve your business and you're constantly trying to learn more and taking on new mentors and all that kind of stuff, you're always going to have new things to talk about. And two, it's always going to be real, okay? It's always going to have a real world lesson behind it. It's always going to have a real world story behind it, which makes it a lot more relatable for people. And it's just a lot more attractive for people to listen to when it's a real story rather than theory or some made up story, okay? And what you're seeing in this video is a real life example of it, right? I'm talking to you about creating content, and how I started this video was by telling you about a conversation that I was having with a client, right? So I let that conversation that I had with him trigger this piece of content, right? So all I have to do when I sit down to film a video or write a Facebook post to create something that's impactful and helpful for my people is I just have to look at the business and go, what happened today, right? What interesting conversations did we have? What interesting conversations did I have with my team? What objections popped up in sales conversations, right? Who purchased? Who didn't purchase? Why did they buy? Why didn't they buy? Right? Why did someone, choose to invest in us versus another program? Did someone leave any interesting comments on our social media? Do we get any really positive reactions? Any really negative reactions? Do we get any emails? Right? Like what is happening in the ecosystem that you are building? Be that one platform, be it 3 platforms, maybe you've got automated funnels, maybe you're selling on the phone. It doesn't matter. Just look at the stuff that is happening day in and day out in your business, with your clients, with your prospects, with your audience, and let that fuel your content. Because what you're going to do by bringing up those topics is you're going to deliver a ton of value, right? You're going to be able to handle objections at scale, okay, right? Like if we took an example of, I was on the phone, or someone from my team was on the phone, and we had this person who was looking at the inner circle, whatever. They were looking at this program and they said they weren't ready for this reason. Okay, let me tell you my thoughts about this, right? So if I deliver a piece of content like that, where I'm talking about an objection that we got, and then I can debunk that objection in a video at scale, I've just handled that objection before it ever even comes up. So if someone then proceeds to go through our sales process and talk to myself or someone on the team, right, whether they realize it or not, we've handled that objection in advance if they did have it, right? So you can use content to do that, right? If you have a conversation with someone and they've just got this stern belief that something should be done one way, right? Like they only believe that you can sell high ticket on the phone. And then, we're over here closing $10, $15, $20,000 deals with PDFs and Google Docs in Messenger, and you show them and you kind of illuminate this different path and you shift their belief pattern and you break an assumption for them. Amazing content, because then you can go back and do that for the other people in your audience at scale, right? If questions are consistently popping up, they become really good pieces of content. I think you get my point here. So if you struggle with creating content consistently, just look at what you're doing day to day. And if that isn't giving you enough ideas, the harsh reality is that you might need to be doing more. Okay, I'm not going to say that you definitely need to be doing more, because there are some nuances and stuff, but there's a real possibility that maybe you need to be doing more, having more sales conversations, right? Generating more leads, making more offers, all that kind of stuff. You got to be getting out there and doing stuff, right? Investing in different programs, growing, learning from different mentors, testing, experimenting. The more you do stuff, the more feedback you're going to get, the more data you're going to get in your market, in your space, and this applies to all of them. And then that's going to give you more stuff to share, which starts the feedback loop, growing bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, that's my advice to the people that struggle with content, and that's just from my personal experience of creating it nearly daily for the last kind of 4 years, especially in my Facebook group, but also pretty consistently on YouTube. YouTube's had some bumps along the way, but that's just because we have a lot of stuff going on, and always try and get to it when I can. But that's my tip. Think about that one. I think it'll serve you really, really well when it comes to your content. Check out the links in the description, join the private community, all that kind of good stuff, and I'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.